Here we are. What's up, everybody? I'm KinzyKenzie, Mackenzie, Mac, Kenzie, either or, whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm BPG13, also known as Viper, and I also run this game. Yeah, that should be it.
Yeah, so we are doing a cheeky bit of Chronicle mode of Sega GT 2002 today. There's also a speedrun of like the main campaign category, but it's very long. So we are doing Chronicle mode today, which is, as you could probably see, use classic cars to win this challenge. We've got a long list of very, very beautiful cars, if you ask me. I mean, I wish this one.
I mean, I'm the guy with the list, but yeah.
I wish this one was just a little bit faster. I bloody love that thing. Anyway, we are going to be doing this with the E-Type Jag.
No, it's not. It's not a Jag. It's a drag.
It's a Jag.
We got to get that Top Gear reference in somehow.
Right. Color choice?
Any? I mean, personal preference.
She could be a light blue.
Okay, looks to me. Because there's no purple, right?
No, I don't think so. All right.
Blue it is, I guess.
Anyway, let's get the show on the road.
Cool.
I'm an absolute scrub, so I'm going with automatic.
Works for me. I mean, I can't say much. I do the same.
Do you? I thought you did a run with MT.
Well, actually, to be fair, it was that long ago. I can't remember.
You know what? Let's just get right into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it first.
Well, honestly, we just start the timer when the race starts. So, you know, bit of menuing, a bit of a 3, 2, 1, bam. So, you know, just let the screen guide you, really. All right. So, as we said, use classic cars to beat this challenge. This challenge being a race throughout the ages.
All right.
There we go.
Hey, and we're off.
All right. So, of course, very rich Razor style in my mind. We start off by just getting our ass through the pack, get ahead, and yeah. So it's a race throughout the ages. So we start in what was it? The
late 70s.
Late 70s. Thank you very much. And you can see that I really like this effect. We start off with a sepia tone on the screen, you know, really sell that classic vibe, and slowly that fades out into, you know, nice, colorful scene where we're in first. Hell yeah.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah, so do you want me to run through the car list? I might as well. I've got the entire thing in front of me.
Absolutely.
So Chronicle mode has a fair few cars in it. Obviously, as you can see, we've got the Jag, the E-Type, from I think it was 1961, it said, I think. But there's a various amount of cars, so just kind of quickly run through the list of them. I've got them all right here, so do apologise if I'm like looking at it. So we have the Nissan Skyline GTR, the KPGC10 model from the 70s. We also have the Mazda Savannah RX-3, the Toyota Celica 1600 GT, the Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GTA, the Lotus Europa Special,
which is also popular amongst runners. I think it does appear in the top 5 of this category. And if I can interrupt you just a moment, that was the second nice little wall ride, wall glide, whatever you want to call it. I don't think there's an official name for it. Just, you know, if you just go full force into certain walls, it's actually faster than hitting the brakes, which is great fun.
We also have the Corvette Stingray in here, which I believe, if we're right in saying, has the more powerful. It's way more powerful than this.
Just in raw horsepower, it absolutely trounces everything else on the list. But that horsepower is just very hard to keep on the track, really. So
yeah, so I think it's too much weight, isn't it? I think with this, as we were saying, like during practice, it was like a case of. Yeah. I mean, this is more like a better all-rounder. Like it does weigh a little bit, but it's not like as heavy as the Stingray. So getting around corners is a bit easier. Not that easy, I'll grant you, but I think there's like a certain way with the handling with this game. Like there's not. It's hard to put a finger on whether to say it's a light steering or heavy steering. It's a weird, like, in the middle. Well, I will say it does take some time to get used to. However, if I'm right in saying, you've been playing this for quite a while, right?
I grew up with this game. You know, it came out when I was 6 years old. So, I mean, I think I got it pretty early in its in the game's lifetime. So
we got quite a few.
I got
over a decade of
good
experience
number
more
of
than I
hours.
have.
Yeah.
The only reason
Alright.
I ended up picking this one up actually was a couple of months ago. I ended up I think it was probably like I want to say earlier this year or last year. Ended up picking it up and I was just like, that game looks good. I'm gonna give that a try. So I ended up picking this up myself. But yeah, that's the 70s done, and we're on to the early 80s now.
Yep. So we've won the first race. We've earned some upgrade points that we're going to put into a fresh set of tires, because you can have the best car in the world, you can have the most horsepower, but it's all meaningless if you can't transfer all of that power into the road. So, tires.
Oh, should we may as well mention as well, so I'll just quickly run through the rest of the cars by the way as well. We also have the Nissan 240Z, which is the one you absolutely love.
Yeah.
The Renault A110, which I'm sure a lot of people may be familiar with. It's also known as the Alpine or Alpine A110, depending on how you pronounce it. The Honda S600, obviously we've got the Jag E-Type, and also the Toyota TE2711. The funny thing is, out of all them cars, one that's just stuck out in my mind as I read that list, the Honda S600.
Yeah.
So that actually in another racing game, Auto Modelista.
Oh.
And the weird thing is, I'll only briefly explain this, but the reason why that car stands out for me in that one is because in the NTSC version, which has completely different handling to the PAL and Japanese releases, you actually do an engine swap with that car. So you take a 2JZ engine from a Toyota Supra and stick it in a Honda S600. It's so ridiculous, but it's so OP because it's a small little car, ditty car, and it just like pounces the competition. Like you're going up against like, Dodge Vipers and all the rest of it. It just floors them all, and it's like, funny how it's like a little car. I mean, would it be the first time a little car has took on the big guy and won? Like Mini Cooper, the Mini Coopers back in the 60s used to do it all the time, especially in the rallying scene as well.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. One more thing that I thought of as we started this race, where I passed a Mitsubishi Starion, the four-wheel drive, one of the early four-wheel drive cars, I think. And
I think the Audi Quattro's in this, right?
It is. I mean, that's
also
is it the first or is it one of the first?
Judging by the model, I'm gonna guess it was one of it's a sports Quattro. So I'm gonna guess it is one of the, I think it's the A1 Quattro that's in this. So one of the very early models, because at the time when Audi, for those that aren't aware or don't have really a history with cars, when Audi released the Quattro, it I want to say it almost dominated. It went up against some of the best sports cars in the world in the rallying scene. Didn't really win much. I think it won a championship with, I want to say, Walter Roll. And it was during the 80s when the Group B era was a thing. But yeah, it was like one of the first, at the time, this was when four-wheel drive got introduced to the WRC. As a road car, it sold pretty well. I actually know somebody who has one of these, but it's in bits. I'm like, okay. Why? Why is it in bits? Why is it not on the road?
But yeah, for now, let's got a few more things to explain, especially about what track we're on right now. But before we do that, let us hear a donation.
Archie donated $20. Let's go, Kenzie. Let's go. Clap, clap, clap.
Thank you very much, Archie. Archie's a very, very good friend of mine. Appreciate the donation to Save the Children.
He was in practice, wasn't he, the other day?
Oh, yeah,
he was in practice, wasn't
it? Yeah.
That's,
all right, so
tracks.
Tracks. So, backing up a tiny little bit, I was going to say that this game was originally submitted as a race between the two of us, which is a shame we weren't able to make that happen in the end. But specifically, why it's such a shame in my mind is because this run is influenced by RNG a little bit. So, the first track, Brick Raceway, is always the same when you start a new round of Chronicle mode. The second track is where the RNG starts. So if you want an optimal run, you're practicing for PBs at home. You see the track that I'm on currently, or a different one, you reset. This is not the optimal route, I'm afraid. So having two runners meant we would have two dice rolls. That was definitely at least on the top of my reasons list for why it would be great to have this as a race instead. But so this track is the out of the 4 options. Okay, out of the 4 options, 2 are actually the same for track number 2. Anyway, so there was a faster option and there was a slower option. So we didn't get the best, we didn't get the worst. So you know, little middle of the road. Oh god,
turbo,
bolt-on turbo. Thank you very much.
Now we're going to go even more speedy. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Also, we're now going to the late 80s. So obviously, as we've said before, like the idea with Chronicle
I'll let
mode
the
is you go
opponent
in.
slide on a little bit. You can see, of course, the Sprinter Trueno. Everybody knows. Initial D.
So
right?
with all the cars that are in effect with the game, I think it's something like, I want to say 40 or 50 cars altogether. Maybe more, maybe less, something around that.
I wouldn't even know an exact number. It's a lot, honestly. For a game this old, there's a lot to love in this game.
I think this was on, I mean, it was also on the same time that we had, like, because we did have Sega GT, just Sega GT, then there was 2002, and I think Online came after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Something around that line. It's a bit of a weird one. Like, you obviously have, like, your remakes and so on, you have, like, your sequels, but this is like having 3 games that have all got the same name, but there's, like, little bits added on each time. But, yeah, so we all together have, so we have 6 tracks to do, as Kenzie said. It is, like, basically a dice roll. Depending on which one it is. The difference between the shortest and the fastest is like, what, 4 minutes? 3 minutes even? Is it 2 minutes? I don't know.
All in all, I mean, it does balance out a little bit. You know, if you get a very long track for race number 2, you get a slightly shorter track for race 3 and let's say race 6. You know, like the game does try to balance it out a little bit, but there is just an objective fastest playlist, let's say that. There are 4 possible track playlists. So right now, because for race number 2 there's only really one option. We know that we're on like playlist. I think in my notes it's number 3, but I mean that's just however you look at it. And also, so again for the first track we went with tires because it's just one of the most important things to upgrade about a pretty old vehicle that we're driving here. Before this one, you might think, we still need to try and control that weight a little bit, but this is more of a, I don't know how you would describe it. I'm not big on race terminology, but this is what I would describe as more of a classical, more of like what people think of when you say a racetrack, right? Long straights, big corners, not really. Like the previous one is like in a completely different environment. So this one just get a lot of speed. Nice bolt-on turbo.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. Absolutely. Exactly.
So the next one is suspension. It's weight reduction.
Yeah.
Also, since we've finished with the 80s, we're going to move on to the 90s. You'll probably notice as well, for those that aren't into cars that much and don't really know car models and so on, as we're getting more into this, there probably will be cars that you recognise, probably most certainly from, I don't know, the Fast and Furious franchise, maybe. So
leave it on for a second.
As you can see, we've got Subaru and so on. Yeah, you can tell you're in the 90s when the Subaru appears. So, and also the
big chunky
or
Merc.
something. Yeah.
2 big chunky Mercs. My God.
Quite
Is that
a
a stereo
Subaru as well. I'm not sure. Maybe.
No. It's too modern, I think. Anyway.
So now we're getting it. Now we're getting into like the hard. I'll say the harder races. Like as a casual, it is probably going to be more difficult as you go. However, with the right upgrades and with some decent driving, it's a real breeze to do this. One thing that I always struggle to understand, I don't know if you know about this, but the number at the top right has 01. Like that's not what position you're in, because obviously that's bottom left.
Yeah, no, that's just
a racing number, I guess.
Yeah, your number. Yeah, you in the campaign, in anything, you're always just number 1. I mean, if you play split screen, yeah, you'll have number 1 and number 2, and then it just fills the grid from then on. Like, I don't know what the point is, but yeah, you're just always you are always number 1.
It's also
Read
worth
that
mentioning,
however you want.
Exactly. It's also worth mentioning as well. So I know we haven't stumped on this one yet, but when it comes to playing this game and doing this run, you ideally want to be on an original Xbox, which is what Kenzie's playing on. Simple reason, if you play on the 360, it has some way like slowdown and lag at times. For reasons unknown, I mean, then again, there are games out there, as I'm sure everybody knows, that are backwards compatible with the Xbox 360 and play worse than the original Xbox. I can't really give you all the examples.
Compatibility is just a bit wacky.
With this game, it's like, But that was actually what we could have showed off as well, because I would have been on a 360, so it would have kind of also proved that point too. But since you're not seeing that, I might as well explain it. But yeah, it's just like just a heads up. If you are ideally playing this, if you can only play it on a 360, fair enough. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just be warned that there is a bit of slowdown and lag. Although I'd say it doesn't really ruin your experience too much. But if you play on an original Xbox, obviously like Kenzy's doing, you'll have dead smooth frame rate for the most part. I don't really see much frame rate drop.
No, it's
one thing I do like actually is the frame rate. As stupid as that sounds, it's actually really nice to have a game that plays at 50, 60 FPS.
Good
Something
question.
like that.
I don't actually know.
Around that. This is PAL, right? Or is it NTSC?
No, this is this game is NTSCU.
So it'll be 60, I guess.
So yeah. Or is it like 59 point what?
I don't know.
I don't know.
59 point
ask
something
me.
or other.
I know this is running on interlaced right now because it's connected by SCART. That's all I know. I don't know. I'm supposed to know about tech, but don't tell them. So let's go back to track selection for a bit. So again, track number 1 is like static, not random. It's always Brick Raceway. I just like saying the names, I guess. It's probably meaningless to you. I just like saying them. Track number 2 was God. It was not Standing Night. It was the other one.
Hang on. I might find
Can you do a cheeky bit of scrolling?
Yes, I can. Wild Country Circuit?
It probably
That
was
sounds
Standing
about-
Night after all.
Actually,
I think Wild
Standing
Country
Night.
is the extra long one.
So we've actually got 4 routes that we can take. Luckily, Kenzie has actually wrote them all down, so I can just have a quick browse. Well, that was Turquoise Sea Park. That's always the same on every route, right?
Yeah, completely static.
So we did, I believe, is it Falcon Wing Circuit B we did? Or
Can you
was it
scroll
A?
up a bit? I need the upgrade.
Suspension,
There
yeah.
we go. Of course, there's a optimal route written down, decided by other people. That's just outsource it. That's how you do that.
Now we're moving into my kind of era. The late 90s.
Again,
Now you're getting a lot of cars there.
2000 Cella cars.
Also, 155's in here? What the heck?
For me personally, this is already getting a bit too modern for my blood.
I mean, this is all my sort of taste, but
all right. Yeah, I mean, we all have our own taste.
So this can either be this can actually be 3 circuits, the 5th race. So we have a choice between Blue Steel Speedway, Iron City Circuit, or Tornado Pass. I have no idea which one this one is. I want to say Tornado Pass.
Looks like Tornado Pass to me, but yeah. I think so because this is actually for this particular track. This is the fastest possible.
Woody Woodpecker, way.
Yeah.
You gotta go fast, and I think Jesus is gonna like.
I remember as a kid, it was either my brother or my sister. They they forced me almost to park in front of that sign so they could draw it. They wanted it as a reference because they just liked it so much, and I just had to sit there with the handbrake on.
It's like, just don't move. Yeah,
just park in front of the sign and don't move.
In most car games, it is a bit of an oddball. Like with if you put the handbrake on, sometimes the car just stays there. Other times the car just rolls, and majority the car just starts rolling.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, does it have to? Also, there's a funny little tie in here. So we were only like when we was doing practice the other day.
Speaking of signs,
yeah, we had So, oh my god, there's actually quite a few. There's Segas in here too, mind you. It is called Sega GT, of course. There's actually a funny one, which was like, oh yeah, this is a good tie-in. So there's a Ford Racing one in here. And considering I'm doing Ford Street Racing after this, it's a nice little tie-in, which is always good. But yeah, so there was as we were saying before, like with all the different tracks and everything, it varies between like 2 or 3 minutes, and it is literally a roll of the dice. As Kenzie said, if you get the wrong track, you will be resetting early. There's no shadow of a doubt. If you, however, are just going for the case of, I don't care what time I get, like first run like I was doing, I was like, okay, I'll just race anything. I mean, it does help to be quick at all the tracks regardless. So, I mean, if
of course.
If you obviously end up having one, you're like, not so sure about this track, you can, like, practice it. The only downside is that you can't practice, like, a full set. Like, with most games, it's like you can practice races individually, but you can't practice doing a full route, like the best route every single time, because it's going to be random no matter what. It's not a case of Kenzie can just keep resetting the console and it will be the same every single time. It will always be different. So it really is like the whole race, and again, apart from races 1 and 4, give or take.
Yeah.
It it is better to just like practice everything, anything. So it will be a bit tricky to get times for some people if they decide to play this, but yeah, for the most part, it's a case of it's just, well, I don't know. I don't want to say get good, but it is literally like practicing your driving skills and improving.
There's our confirmation. It is Tornado Pass.
Oh, nice.
That's a read the sign.
Also, that's 5 out of 6 done. We only got one more to go, right?
Yeah, only one more to go.
And
so
it's the butt polish.
Good lord. Okay. Of course, my mind is on 5 tracks at the same time, and I forget what I was wanting to say. Anyway, yeah, port polish. Next, 1 track left.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I was actually a little bit annoyed on like kind of early days of practicing for this run for this showcase, because the RNG would only give me the optimal route over and over again, which is like, I don't have a timer running, so this doesn't serve me. I mean, it's great that I just get to, you know, do it fast every time, but I mean, I don't really get to practice, you know, the other options, which are still very realistic.
Also,
so
you should probably mention as well. So we've been through the late 70s, the early 80s, the late 80s, the early 90s, and the late 90s, and now we are in the 21st century.
Early noughties.
So now, obviously, more or less the cars, I'm pretty sure most people will recognise. We've already had a few that we've overtook. Also,
sorry,
now
I skipped through the listing a bit fast. You didn't really get a
we've got a
good read of them
350Z.
there, but
there's a 350Z
nice
and a
nice
Subaru that I knew. But yeah, we've got time for a donation.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Avthis donated $10. Thank you for the nostalgia with this game I haven't thought about in 17 years or something.
Oh god, yep. I'm aging. Anyway, yeah, this game is fantastic. I love it to bits.
Isn't it? Like I'm starting to feel like really old. I'm like,
yeah. Honestly, like I keep praising this game for like, because I mean, okay, just to take a different example, a different like Xbox game from not quite the same year, I don't think, but anyway, SSX3. It's like a game I remember extremely fondly because, again, I just grew up with it. You know, nostalgia is strong with this one. So, but when I start playing it again, I definitely like notice a lot of like the quirks with the movement, and like just some things just don't feel as nice as my brain would like me to believe they were back in the good old days. But honestly, picking this game up again, there's nothing like that to me. There's nothing like, oh well, this is, you know, nostalgia in my head, you know, the rose tinted glasses or something like painted over this. Nothing, absolutely not. I still love this game to bits. Specifically, like, I love just the way that the campaign works, because I feel like a lot of modern games don't really like give you this sense of like progression anymore, where you just like in this you have a garage, you have 13,000 credits, whatever, dollars, credits, and just, you know, figure it out. Just buy some basic ass, you know, little hot hatch or something from the shop, and just go racing with it. Earn some money, win a better car, buy yourself a better car, and it's just like you're juggling your cash constantly, and it's not, you know, like, I mean, I love like Forza Horizon 5. I think I've brought that game up too many times in the past week. But it's like, you know, I own 600 cars in that game. It's just a completely different, like, I don't know, it feels completely different. But
is it bad if I say, like, I don't think there's many games that have much progression anymore, like racing game wise? I think there's not many that are, or even have a mode such as this. There's not really many games that you can get nowadays that have this sort of thing, whereas like a main game and a classic mode.
Yeah, no,
I mean, most games
it's
are
like,
just
like the kind of
one or
like
the
a
other
side game mode, which is just like, it's because it's not like a mini game or something. Like, it is a full-fledged game mode off to the side. It's like, yeah, no, I think it's really nice, and yeah, I can't think, at least off the top of my head, of any like examples of other games that do something similar. I feel like this game just has so much stuff that it's like they didn't need to add this, they didn't need to do this, but they did because they wanted to, and it's like fantastic. That's like one thing with like the whole like sepia tone and like that slow fade out and stuff. It's like, it's just to add a bit of feel to it, which like it's not necessary. It didn't have to be there,
but it's there like, anyway. They threw it in and was like, yeah, good.
And it's like a ton of stuff like that you'll find in the campaign as well. Like, yeah, you have this whole garage that you can like decorate and kit out just how you want, with like a shop that sells random knickknacks all the time that you have to like come back to if you want to find something specific.
Oh yeah, time's coming up by the end of this
Time is coming up. Yeah, sorry. I'm just gushing about this game. I love it. I love this game. It's fantastic. 3, 2, 1, time.
There we go. 23:08. How far is that off your PB? Like, that's pretty close.
Absolutely no clue, but I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good, especially for like, you know, not getting the right RNG or whatever. I think that's a fantastic time.
I mean, we have like a few,
Nice bit
because
of a
we've got
replay.
like a couple of minutes. I think we may as well just mention like there is this was probably like the time part of the this was part of the time of when they had that era of racing games in the original Xbox. Like you had the original Forza Motorsport, Project Gotham Racing 1 and 2. You know, there was so many great racing games at the time. It feels weird to go back on it and go, you know what, I miss these sort of games. It is definitely worth giving this game a try, by the way, just for those that are curious.
Absolutely recommend it.
As Kenzie said, there is like an entire... Don't think that like this is the game and that's it. No. This is like a little side mode.
Yeah, this is a little side mode. This is a tiny part of the game. Where I'm like, even this, it's like in the campaign, you have this whole replay system, and you can like take photos of your car, and you can have like photos of all your greatest accomplishments on the wall in your garage.
Yeah.
It's like all this shit. It's like this doesn't need to be in the game, but it's great. I love it, and I love the people who worked on it. Like it's absolutely fantastic.
God bless Sega for making it.
Yeah. All right,
also, we do have like one last little surprise, which is after this is all finished. But I'm gonna like let it go.
There we go. Earning the medals I already had. Very good. Very nice. Thanks, game.
Yeah. So you win a car depending on which car you complete with. So obviously we've done it with the Jaguar E-Type. So we've got the Jaguar Mark II. I think it's like a 3.8 litre car.
Oh yeah.
Like proper classic car as well. But depending on which car you do it with, obviously depends on which one you win. And obviously, as you saw when you go along as well, there are cars that are not just as you go down and complete each car, but there's also you complete every car on like the first level you get a car, and second level you get a car. Just loads of cars to win in Chronicle mode. Also, I like how the year keeps going. It's like, wasn't this maybe like 2001? It's like, oh yeah,
it's like, you know, off into the future.
Yeah.
Racing will never die.
It's like God knows
That's what I was about to say.
I wonder if they ever predicted what the future will look like. I'm pretty sure they didn't have that. Also, yeah, we got one last thing.
Of course, we skipped past it because, hey, speedrunning. But you can even see, like, the legend of racing will never die.
Also, the music with that works so well.
It does. Like, it really does. Like, just the music for this game is absolutely fantastic. Like, just for the sound check, we were like scrolling through all the tracks in the game, and I'm just having a great time, just sitting here. Hell yeah, yeah. No, oh, we're starting.
Yeah. Let's go.
What I was gonna say, yeah, like for all the different eras and different stages within this game mode, like there are massive blocks of text of just like historical information, like this is how the WRC was doing at the time, and like this is what the racing scene looks like, and like this is the what really shook things up and everything. It's like, again, it's like there's whole history lessons within this game.
I mean, literally the whole game,
but like I love that it's there.
I love how the whole Chronicle mode is literally just a history lesson. Like, there's no like, oh yeah, we can just get you to play this game and that game. It's like, oh, drive this car and that car, and it's like, nah, we're gonna like throw everything at you. Like, yeah, you go wild and see how good you can get an old car to do against like the new stuff. It's a pretty good game mode, to be fair. Do quite like it.
Yeah. So I mean, I hope we. Yeah, I'm sorry for that estimate. I should have lowered it a little bit, I suppose. All right. I mean, yeah, because I think we're just making lovely conversation, but it's just. Yeah,
might as well kind of show a few of the cars.
I mean, of course, yeah, we can just scroll through this list. Like you already read them off. It's again.
So Scar from 1970, which was actually one of my favourite ones. Actually, believe it or not, this is like when I did the first run, I was like using this car.
We're starting a podcast. This is our teaser.
Yeah, like Argic and Nico have got one with Bobby. We got our own. Yeah.
Savannah RX-3.
Yeah, 1975.
I'm just gonna scroll through all of these and just gonna say, lovely car, just beautiful car. Like
nice.
I know nothing about them. I just think they look nice. They look fantastic. Toyota Celica.
Yep.
Like again, these cars look quite similar in style, even being from completely different manufacturers.
I'm pretty sure Ford made the, oh god, I want to say it's either Capri or an Escort or something, and it looks very similar to Sleeker at the front. I can't remember what the Ford is exactly. I do apologise for anyone that knows it. Congrats, but I don't. That car I remember particularly from Gran Turismo 4.
Yeah, you mentioned
like
right?
it was on a on a license test,
thing.
I think. I think you win it in some competition or other. So that's why. And also, every time I look at it, I don't straight away look at GTA. I don't know why. Like,
of course,
I forget what it
draws
is.
the eyes, doesn't it?
But what other cars we have? You said we got through.
Europa Special again, yeah.
Even has the big wang on the back.
Yeah.
This speed
appears on the leaderboard as well because it's honestly
it's a fast car.
Yeah, no, it's actually a fast car. It handles pretty nicely. I think just like of course because like starting off no upgrades. I think it is a little bit on the heavy end, but like this, yeah, I guess this is also a fantastic well-rounder. It's just I guess just very slightly worse than the Jag is. Because I mean, yeah, a lot of other runners did choose to race with this and got similar times. So
there's
again,
the Stingray. There's the big heavy boy.
Okay, let's go through this real quick. Okay, so 157, 118, 130.
It's going lower.
113,
124.
I can't get anything.
458.
Like what a jump! And there's like
147,
123,
120,
56. This is an absolute little. Oh my god! This is actually a challenge to try and win it with.
I mean, there's always next time, right? If that race ever comes on,
challenge
a 600 versus a Chevy Stingray. Let's see who wins that one.
Yeah. So again, Jag is a bit more powerful than the average, but again, you trade that in weight. But still, a lot better of a well-rounded than the Stingray is.
That was made quite popular thanks to the Italian Job. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen that film. But yeah, back in the 60s, they were all the rage. Like I think, as well with the E-Type, was the fact that it was seen as the rich family's car. So it was a case of if you had a lot of money in the 60s and you were driving a Jag E-Type, you knew that person was rich. Like nowadays, these cars are collector's item. They're worth probably, I don't know, 1.2 mil, maybe 2 million quid. They are worth a fair bit of money now. Back then, I don't even know how much they cost, but it wasn't £2 million to buy one. It's ridiculous. It's about the same price as a Koenigsegg nowadays, these. Which is ridiculous. Wow. Considering they've got 264 horsepower and a Koenigsegg's got, I don't know, 1,500 horsepower. I mean, you're going to pick the Koenigsegg for speed, but then where are you going to use it?
Exactly.
But yeah.
I mean, only other thing I could really think of is to, like, start running off some of the tracks, but it's like,
There's a fair bit. I mean, there's 2 seasons in the main game. That's the thing. There is
that's
Speedrun
that's
for
the
season
crazy
1.
thing. There's the whole first season, and then you think it's over, and no, it just goes back. There's a whole nother season. Like,
so they just keep coming.
This game is loaded with content. How we doing?
I think got a wrap. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, just let this rock us out for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, listen to that. All right, I've been KinzyKenzie. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching the run. We've really enjoyed it. If you want to find Kenzie, you can find her on Twitch and also on speedrun.com, as well as myself at the BPG13, and I do plenty of racing games as well as Kenzie does. So I think that's going to be it.
If you're a real fan of racing games, I recommend you go here. I mean, this.
We're not right after, but still, that works.